Okay, that was Redskin Rag, and it's also known as Cincinnati Rag. And Don recorded that twice, once with Buck Ryan on an album called Fiddler on the Rocks, and again in the mid-'70s when after Bill Harrell had left the band on Don's 30th anniversary album on CMH label, and they called it Cincinnati Rag on that album. What I'm going to show you here is pretty much both of his versions that he did on the original cut with Buck Ryan and the second version with his later band. And this song is it's pretty simple. It's a good song to jam on. You can do a lot of things with this song. It's actually similar to Follow the Leader in the break, or actually in the bridge of the song. And the chord progression is pretty simple. Don doesn't kick the song off on either version, but I came up with a little kickoff here. I kind of borrowed this from Jerry Douglas's the dobro break that he takes on Cincinnati Rag. He made that kind of famous for the dobro. And what it is I'm coming up here on the 12th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string, and I'm brushing down. Alright, I'm brushing down on the 3rd and 2nd string, and I'm coming to this E chord on your 9th fret. Okay, and from there the chord progressions E, A, D, and G, kind of like Salty Dog. Alright, let's see, we'll do that. We'll start from there. Okay, and Don goes right into this particular chord shape that he used quite a bit, actually. And what this chord shape is your ring finger on the 9th fret on the 3rd string, your middle finger on the 7th fret on the 2nd string, and your first finger on the 6th fret on the 1st string. Okay, and he uses this a lot, especially in backup behind the fiddle. Alright, and the way to remember where to start this position, say if you in this case we're going to be in E, so you always want to start out on the fret that the chord is in. So it's on the 9th fret, that's your E chord, so that's where you started at. Okay? So in other words, if I wanted to move it to D chord, I would do it on the 7th fret. That's where you bar across for a D chord. Same position. And you can move it anywhere on the neck. So the song starts. Okay, just a forward roll. And then it moves to an A chord. We're just coming up here to the 14th fret, doing that same position. Going to the D chord. Okay. So, well, I'll do that slow. Okay, and we do a little single string lick there, and I'll show you that. Now, usually on the E and the A, I'm rolling and coming back with the first finger on the right hand and the thumb on the 3rd string. Okay, and then I go to A, do the same thing. But on the D, I don't do it. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start the single string run instead of doing that. Alright, now this single string run is pretty common in Don's style. If you have the 5 DVD set that I did, the Reno workshop, you'll remember this lick. It's in there. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm single stringing, thumb down, index up, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 5th fret on the 2nd string, back to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 5th fret on the 3rd string, 4th fret on the 3rd string, open, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 4th fret on the 3rd string, and open again. Okay, so alright, and it's followed up by that little roll there, little tag lick that Don uses a lot. And all it is a forward roll on the 5th string to the 2nd string to the 1st. And then I'm hitting the 2nd string on the 4th fret, or the 2nd fret on the 4th string, rolling forward, and hitting the G string. Alright, I'll play a whole first break for you, slow. Okay, now that is the first time through, and it does it again. It goes back to E. It goes through that whole first part again. Okay, and just does that twice. Now the bridge in it, the bridge goes in it to a G, to an E minor, C, to a D, back to G. And this is where it's just like Follow the Leader. It's the same chord progression. Alright, and what I'm doing here is I'm brushing on the 1st and 2nd strings using this partial G chord on your 2nd fret, or the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 4th fret on your 3rd string. Okay? And I'm coming up here, and then I'm going to, well, no, this is the E minor, okay. I'm going to catch this partial E minor. It's the 4th fret on the 3rd string, 5th fret on the 2nd string. And I'm going to slide that back. And what I'm doing on this E minor is I'm brushing down the 4th and 3rd strings. Okay, backing up this position. Here's that E minor. Okay, then I'm going to come back to this partial G chord. I got to think about it here. It's hard to slow it down. Okay. Alright, when I come back to this G position, goes the C chord. When we come back to this G chord, we're going to hit that partial G chord again. Then we're going to come over here and flatten your finger across on the 5th fret, on the 3rd and 2nd strings. Hit this partial G on the 1st and 2nd strings. It's all out of this G chord position now. And it may seem confusing. I know I'm messing up on it a little bit here, showing you, because I haven't slowed this stuff down in so long, but hopefully you can decipher what I'm trying to show you here. But the key of what I'm doing is I'm doing this as part of the melody here. I'm using this when I go to the E chord, and then I'm hitting the C chord when I'm going to the C chord. Hear the difference? E chord, C chord. Alright, so this is where similar to Follow the Leader, but the melody is different. Follow the Leader. Okay, it's quite a bit of difference in melody. Alright, so back to the C. Alright, and then we go into a little single string thing here. And what I'm doing is I'm single stringing these notes. I'm hitting the G chord, or the G string, twice, and fretting it on the second fret on the third string, and coming on the second fret on the fourth string and to the first to open. Okay, and what we're doing is we're just walking from this C chord to a D. Alright, now when you get to this D chord, obviously you're in the D when you hit that open note. You're going to come over here and do this run. Okay, now that is exactly like Follow the Leader too, and many other tunes that Don used that lick in. Alright. Now how do we do this lick? When you hit this D note open, 1, 2, 3 on the fourth string, second, third, fourth fret, to the second fret on the third string, fourth fret on the third string, second fret on the second string, third fret on the second string. Okay. Okay, that's the same thing as Follow the Leader there too. I'll play that part again. Alright, to follow the whole lick here, you come down on the second fret on the first string, fourth fret, back to the second fret. Now we're going to the second string on the third fret, open second string, third fret on the third string, second fret on the third string, open. Alright, now I'll play that whole bridge for you. Okay, and there's that little tag lick again. And then we do it again. Okay, and then that's basically the one time through playing just the melody of the tune and sticking to just a basic break. And let's go on to the second break here. There's so many things you can do with this tune, because the first part of it, really you can do any kind of breaks you want as long as you're running through the E, A, and D, and G. So you could do any number of single string breaks or brush licks in here. You could do the Dixie breakdown roll. Okay, which is pretty much like Banjo Special or something like that. But I think what I did was a brush break. I believe that's what I did in the intro there. It's hard for me to remember. I try to just play whatever comes to my mind at the time, and that's the way Don did it. And again, this stuff you should try to come up with your own thing. Don't follow exactly what I'm showing you here. Once you get an arsenal of Don's licks and things, you can come up with your own breaks. But I'll show you what I did on that. We're going to start back at the E, just like we're starting over again. And we're going to brush on the first and second strings. And the way I'm starting this is I'm hitting up with my first finger on the right hand, and then I'm brushing down. It's quick. And remember, I'm muting the bridge back here with my right hand. But see, it gives it a little hop. You're hitting that first note, and I'm flattening my fingers across two strings here. It's double stops. All right, and basically all I'm doing here is I'm running from this E to this E. All right, I'm running to a E seventh. Alright, so what I'm doing, hitting that note first, I'm brushing down and then pulling off from the 8th fret to the 7th fret. It's a double stop pull off, so you have to learn how to roll your fingers off the strings. Okay, so then I come back to the 9th fret. Now we're on the 2nd and 3rd strings. 7th down to the 7th fret. All right, and there's these familiar double stops. We end up on that partial G chord, which is actually part of an E7th. Here's your G chord, E7. See, it's not much difference. But this is that same partial chord we had before. Okay. Okay, I'll do that slow. Here we go. This is part of that same partial G chord position, but we're playing off of an A chord here. Back down to the E7th. Okay. It's not too hard. It's actually just a matter of learning to get the brushing and laying your fingers down on the strings. I think that's what gets some people, is laying their fingers across two strings. And basically we just repeat this pattern through the A and through the E. So I'll show you that A. We come up to the 14th fret and do the same thing. It's the same chord positions. All right. I'll show you another version of this that Don did. You can do that brush break the first time and then come back with this break. Or you can do this break first and do it twice. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you want to do. But Don did do this particular chord break. I believe this was on his second version he did this, where he called it Cincinnati Rag. And instead of going to this E chord that we did, we're going to go to this E7th chord. Okay, and what we're doing here, this is your E chord. We're going to come up here and hit the 7th fret on the 3rd string, while holding down this part of the E chord. Alright, so we're going to do that same roll we did the first time we played it. Okay, and this is basically just your D7th chord position. You can move it anywhere. But anyway, this is your E chord. Alright, and then we're going to switch to a pretty unique 7th chord that Don does. And he usually does this when he's playing in A, when he plays it in an A chord, but you can move it anywhere. Alright, and what we're doing is, this is your G chord here, okay? We're going to be grabbing 2 of those notes from the G chord on the 1st and 2nd string, on the 9th fret on the 1st string, and the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And then we're going to come over here and grab this note on the 3rd string. It's the 6th fret on the 3rd string. Alright, and Don used to do this a lot behind fiddle players too. So that goes like this. Alright. Alright, and then we go to this D7. Okay, and basically all that is this your barred D, and you're doing a 7th note here. Okay, I'll play all of that for you. Okay, and then he ends with this G chord. When it goes back to G, instead of going, we do this G chord. And this is the same chord position he uses for Dill Pickle Rag. Okay? And what I'm doing is I'm barring across the 1st and 2nd strings on the 5th fret, and the 7th fret on the 3rd string. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Okay, so the E. Okay, and then you just go into the bridge as you normally would. But this time around, when you're going into the D after the C, where you would normally, where you would do that, this time we're going to go. Okay, and that's a pretty cool little lick there. And it's probably going to be hard for me to explain, but I'm going to try. It's when you go to the C, we're going to come up here, and this is kind of similar to the, we're going to use those same type positions, but okay, and the timing has to be right on this to get it right. There's a little pause in it. Hopefully I can slow it down. I have to start playing this back here. There it is right there. It's that. Alright, it's the same type walk down. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're walking from the 7th fret to the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3. Laying your fingers flat across the bottom 2 strings. So 1, 2, 3, back to the 7th fret on the 3rd and 2nd strings. Okay, so when we get back to the 3rd fret, the 3rd and 2nd strings on the 7th fret, we're just going to go back and forth between the 6th and the 7th fret. And then coming back and hit this 5th fret, barred across the 3rd and 2nd strings. And we're going to back this usual G position that we did and hit it open there. Okay, it's a lot harder to explain it than it is to play it. Trust me, it's really not that hard. I know I hate it when people tell me that when there's something that seems really hard for me to do, and they say, well, it's not that hard, but so I probably shouldn't say that. It may be hard to you, but with practice you'll get it. But it's harder for me to slow it down. But we'll go over this again. And it's a real tricky lick too, because if you add too many of these, you'll get hung up, and you're going to rush to get back to the G before the D's over with, and you'll be out of time. So I'll try to play it slow. Like I said, there's a little pause in there, and that's where the timing's tricky. You see what I mean? I added one too many notes in there that time, I think. That's why I have to keep going back and playing this part. I'm coming back to that 5th fret again. Okay, I hope you can figure it out from that. That's a little confusing for me. But it's a good song. Like I said, it's a really good tune to jam on. You can do any number amount of single string stuff on it. And you can do just about anything with Redskin Rag.